All right, cool. We are live, unlike Shannon Sharp on Instagram this week. That shit was crazy.
Whoa,
that shit was crazy.
That was early. It's early for that,
it's
bro.
It's too early for that.
It's
Come on,
early
I gotta get some Shannon Sharp jokes off. I haven't been able to yet.
Talking about that's my girl Michelle.
That's my Michelle.
I was like, boy, he's saying stuff like me. Man, I don't like that.
He ain't come to play, bro. That's just all it is to it. But unlike him, we do got some teams that did come to play this week. So let's talk about some college football for week 3. First of all, obviously, you guys have had a tremendous loss last week against Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to talk about some things that you guys are planning to get right this week against Arkansas State. That game is at 12 o'clock today?
Yeah, 12 o'clock. Not sure what channel. I think it's on the Big Ten Network. Ooh. But honestly, it feels like that Texas game was about 3 weeks ago. That's how long this week has been. And just thinking about how bad they looked on offense, defense, poorly coached. But this week, they have to show some semblance of consistency and execution on offense and defense. Because, and I've been telling people this on my channel, if they don't, like, I know people are going to say, well, if you blow out Arkansas State, that doesn't mean much. Well, this is the sad state of Michigan right now. It means something for us because we haven't seen the offense execute against Fresno State or against Texas. Yeah. So it means something to us because we need to see them execute. If they can't execute consistently on Arkansas State, we got problems for real when Big Ten schedule gets here. But I'm hoping they can come out, execute, hopefully get the run game going, and whoever the quarterback is can get some consistency and they can move the ball, get some big plays. We've had like no big plays on offense. It's been sad. So we haven't had any big plays on offense. And the defense, I need to see them better coached. I haven't seen our defense look that poorly coached since 2020. Like when Mike McDonald and then Jesse Minter came, the defense, you could tell they were well coached. They might have still been trying to learn the system at a time, but they didn't look.
They're a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. They didn't look like these guys. You can tell they're not well coached. They're confused, and you can't play fast on defense if you're confused. So I need to see them at least look like they know what they're doing on defense. I know they're going to out-talent Arkansas State on defense at least, but you have to look like you're a well-oiled machine, like you were saying. Like, I know my job, I know my assignments, and I'm here to take it out on you, Arkansas State. I'm sorry that you came after Texas, but we lost and we're mad, So
sure,
that's what we need to see. And also stretch the field. At least try to stretch the field with a receiver. Like some of this stuff is just it's out of hand to be seeing this. Like you're not trying to stretch the field and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so it's crazy right now.
But what receiver? I mean, outside of Colston Loveland, what are we looking at?
That's the tight end.
Yeah, I know. So is that who you're going to stretch the field with? Colston Loveland?
You can stretch the field with Fred Moore. He went deep against Arkansas State. You can stretch the field with Samaj. At least, I don't care if it's a decoy route and you throw it, but you have to put it out there that we'll take some shots. Put in Omarion Walker. He's 6'3", 6'3", runs a 4.3.
Yeah.
Put him out there. Let him run deep. He should be able to get wide open against Arkansas State defense, you would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little play action. Hit him with a deep post or something, like you would think. But you have to run this. You have to put it on paper.
Yeah.
We will try to stretch the field, even if you don't hit it. Like,
for sure.
They've only thrown deep once, and it got intercepted.
Yeah. Don't let it be Samaj. Don't let it be Samaj Morgan.
Y'all, Ohio State fans, y'all really hate Samaj, boy, don't y'all? Just come on.
Yeah, no,
y'all
I hate
still
Samaj
mad because he called all y'all team bitches. He called everybody a bitch,
and then
y'all
hasn't
mad.
looked good since.
That ain't got. He didn't do nothing that game, but that don't mean
You don't have the right, fam. What are you talking about?
that don't mean he wasn't cooking. Yeah, you
Cook on the field, sir. Your job is
there.
to cook on the field.
Hey,
You cooking on IG Live?
he came here to do two things:
Get on IG
get
Live
dressed and get on IG Live and cook y'all.
Yeah, good luck with that this season. Anyway, so what quarterback are we going to see that from? Do you think we're going to see it from Orgy, or are we going to see it from Homeboy?
They act like they're gonna ride or die with Davis Warren right now. But Jack Tuttle is supposedly healthy. Now,
Okay.
I'm not sure how healthy. I think he's still kind of doubtful or questionable. So if Davis Warren is looking like garbage, they'll probably put in Jack Tuttle, I'm thinking. But I'm at the point where if you're starting Davis Warren and he doesn't look good, like sit him down and see. I don't care who you put in at this point. I don't care who it is, but we need to give somebody else a chance. You've had a fair shot. Thanks for coming. Thanks for trying. If these other guys look worse than you, you'll be back in the game. This isn't a death sentence, but we need to see what we have. You right now, you ain't it. Like that's just the facts of it. So, will they do that? I'm not sure, but the fan base is reaching a boiling point with this stuff. So they best bet is just the offense looks good and they get away with this game. You know what I'm saying? But
hey, I mean, at least Jack Tuttle has the experience to go out there and maybe make something happen. I guess
he does. I don't have much faith in him, but we need to see what he can do at least. That's my problem. They act like they don't want to see what anybody else can do.
Yeah. All right, so we got some more chatters in the building. Shout out to GOJ and shout out to Touchdowns and Tokes. What would Jim do? What do you think Jim would do in this situation?
I think Jim would understand the situation. Now, Jim's a stubborn dude too, so I ain't gonna just say he would sit Davis Warren down, but I think he would understand the situation. Like, okay, I got a dude that's a freak of nature. My offensive line is still trying to gel. They're struggling. My run game is struggling. I want to run the ball. So let me put in a guy that can help the running game and help the offensive line. You can manufacture yards. Davis Warren has given you about 100 yards passing. That's it. He's not giving you any rushing yards. So if I can get Alex Orgy to give me about 80 on the ground and 100 and something through the air, that's still better than what you're doing, Davis.
A good amount better. Yeah, absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? So I think Jim would think like that because it's pretty simple. Yeah, you would want better stats, but you have to go with what you're seeing. Like, I got to find a way to get as many yards as I can from my quarterback right now. However, I have to get them. Like, this is just the situation. It's not a good situation, but you have to understand the situation you're in. And right now, it looks like the coaches at Michigan, it looks like they almost don't even understand it.
Yeah, at this point, your team is looking for a win anywhere that it can get it. And it's if that comes on the back of Alex Orgy's feet, so be it. Obviously they're going to get whatever they're going to get against Arkansas State because it's Arkansas State. But any kind of way that you can kind of gain confidence for this offense should be the way you go about it. Speaking of gaining confidence on the offense, we talked a little bit about Donovan Edwards before we started the live. Do you think this is kind of where he comes out of his shell and maybe breaks a couple for a big game?
I hope so, bro. The after watching, I had my hot takes after the game. Then, There's film reviews, whether it's Maize and Blue review, whether it's Sam Webb, Devin Gardner, and Al Borges.
Mm-hmm.
The film review on Donovan is he had like the second play of the game. He probably had a 30-yard gain, if not a touchdown. If he just looks to the left, there's a monster hole, bro. Like a monster. One of those Donovan goes to the house monster holes, and he just doesn't see it. He runs right into the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like right into the line, bro. So it's just like, I'm not sure, because he's the type of dude right now, he can have the hole. He might not see it though. So that's part of the problem with him. So me personally, I think you have to go with Khalil Mullins because his vision is better and he runs tougher. You have to put Donovan back in that second back role. I know he doesn't want to, and I know Sharon and the offensive coaches don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
After last year he struggled, and his head of Blake coming back. I got to be the second guy, bro. He has to be in that role though, and if they're not, especially now, if you're going to use him more in the passing game, that would be the thing to do. You can still get him his touches. It's something else, and it's a mismatch. But this coaching staff, they barely use him that way. So it's all bad right now. I'm struggling to find a positive with these dudes.
I mean, the positive in this week is that it's Arkansas State, so you should be able to find some positives somewhere in this game.
Yeah, I need to see some semblance of we know what we're doing, at least against Arkansas State.
Yeah. Okay. Mulling also missed some runs last week. Neither took advantage when they had good blocking. Yeah.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Any final thoughts on the Michigan-Arkansas State game coming up, or any thoughts going into USC as well?
Oh, USC. If them boys don't look crisp on offense, the defense still has a chance. They still have a chance because they got the talent. But if that offense doesn't show that they can execute against Arkansas State, we're in trouble against USC and every other Big Ten team except maybe like Northwestern or something. But besides that, if they don't execute, we're in trouble, and we're gonna be in dog fights, or we gonna be getting. We used to give control butt whoopings. We're gonna be getting control butt whoopings if they don't get it together.
Right. No, I told Marcus on our podcast, Back of the Bus, subscribe by the way, that I do see a way where Michigan can come out from under this with teams not looking as good as we previously thought in the preseason, especially with Oregon, which we'll get into in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I do see a way that you guys can get from under this and regain some sort of glory. I don't know if it's going to be similar to last season or the season before, but I do see a way that you guys can have an out at least. Okay, speaking of Oregon, they're the other team that it does seem like people aren't talking about as much, considering they did win their last two games, but in very ugly fashion against Boise State and Idaho. They've given up 7 sacks. Their offensive line looks like Swiss cheese. And despite that, Dylan Gabriel has punched in some decent games, but it took 2 special teams touchdowns last week for them to even beat Boise State. So what are your thoughts on what they need to fix? And, they got Oregon State, which is a tough team at Oregon State, despite them losing their coach. And I think they got a new quarterback as well. So any thoughts on them going into their 3:30 game?
Oregon's almost in the same situation Michigan is. They're a little bit better because they got a better quarterback. They actually have a quarterback, but their offensive line is struggling and getting bullied. Shout out to Antoine Johnson. He said it all off season. Their O-line wasn't it. So they got problems like Michigan does. The only difference is they've escaped, and they've put up better stats offensively, but they're getting about the same result almost. You know what I'm saying? So they're in trouble. They're in trouble. When they get to Big Ten play, they're gonna be getting all that they asked for, and
absolutely
they should have lost to Boise State. They escaped with great special teams. Which shout out to Dan Lanning. I wish we had great special teams.
Right.
Like some difference makers returning kicks and punts. I wish we had that, but You know, they're in trouble though, because you don't want to have to win like that against Boise State. Like,
Yeah.
come on. So when they get to Big Ten schedule, they in some trouble. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
I tried to tell Garrison on my boy Garrison from Scarlet and Blue, I believe. And he was trying to say that, you know, Dylan Gabriel was an upgrade from Bo Nix. I was like, he ain't that. And we talked about this before, you know. So they about to be in some trouble when Big Ten play, just like Michigan is looking like some trouble. So,
for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if they lose today.
Yeah.
If they don't play somebody real garbage, I'm expecting Oregon to probably lose.
I mean, they're playing Oregon State, who I don't feel like is garbage, even despite their circumstances.
I know it.
But yeah, to your point, they're going to start seeing some defensive lines, the likes of Ohio State, the likes of Michigan. And I don't know if that offensive line can handle it. I know they're starting, I think they've got 2 new starters for their offensive line, but like, they just don't look so good. I mean, to compare, I think they've given up 7 sacks so far against Idaho and Boise State. Ohio State's only given up 2 sacks. So like, comparatively speaking, they're giving up quite a bit, and it's really ruining their offense. Let's see. I'm going to be on Johnny Odin neck all season because he's been barking all off season.
That's fine. You be on my neck, but it don't change the fact we still the champs.
That's true. And that's the only reason I'm not giving them any flack yet. He says, Josh, don't give them any hope. Once we beat them, it's going to be hell.
The thing about it is off season is off season. Once I evaluate, because people are like, you're a homer. I'm the hardest person on Michigan on the internet. Easily. That's an actual Michigan fan. I'm on Michigan's neck. So you being on my neck, go watch my stuff. You're going to be like, man, this is great. I love this. Because I'm just going to tell you the facts of what it is. You know what I'm saying? Off season is off season. We don't get nothing out of the off season as Michigan fans. They don't even get, it's closed practice. So a lot of what we want is hope. But now that the season is starting and evaluation and we see it with our eyes, I'm gonna give it to them. So hey.
All right, we'll see.
But we still the champs, Stephen Cherry. I need you to understand that.
For now.
But yeah, they finna get one. They think they finna get one.
Jeremiah Smith for Heisman. Just saying. Anyway, Jeremiah Smith.
How many yards?
Jeremiah Smith for Heisman? A little less than 200, I think.
That boy ain't winning no Heisman.
He will. You wait and see. Anyway, all right. Since we're kind of there already, we talked a little bit about it. The Pac-12 is looking to add teams like Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. Any thoughts on them kind of trying to bolster up their conference again? And
who they trying to hire again?
Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. I think there's some other teams on that list as well.
Trying to go to the
potentially
to the Pac-12.
Mm-hmm. You know, they're only a 2-team conference right now, so
they got to do what they got to do. You know, Big Ten and SEC is sucking up all teams that add value, whether that's academic value, whether that's athletic value, or whether that's marketing value, like like Rutgers is for the Big Ten. You get that New York media market. So you got to do whatever you can do to try to stay afloat at this point and get all right, what's left? What can I get our hands on, before the two-headed monster in the SEC and Big Ten eats up every other team with some type of value or school with some type of value. So I don't blame them. Hey, trying to stay afloat. You better do something.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to envelop some of these Mountain West teams, which is not a bad thing. I think Boise State and Fresno State, some of these upcoming teams, Colorado State even, some of these teams.
Those are pretty good teams. They're not like, upper echelon, but those are pretty good lower level teams.
And they'll be good in the national spotlight, especially when you got, big games like Colorado and Colorado State. Colorado State shouldn't be garnering that sort of national attention, but especially since the game last year, I'm kind of interested in, what that game is going to bring, even though Colorado is not They're not that good this year.
No, they're not. But that game, who they play today? Colorado State.
Yeah,
it's gonna put up numbers. It's gonna put up numbers.
It is. I'm just interested in what the output's going to be. You know what I mean? Especially with all the jawing that they were doing last year. I'm interested to see what happens.
Colorado may blow them out, maybe, but it's probably going to be a dog fight,
which is crazy. It should not be a dog fight.
Them games be so good.
Yeah. Yep.
They're supposed to be in some real dog fights against these lower level teams with all that hype, and them boys be in grudge matches. You be like, man, this is a good game.
Shedeur should have 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. It shouldn't be even a match, but it's going to be. I just feel it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be just like last year.
Even with them talking all that stuff, the Colorado State players, you know, talking about the Instagram followers and all that type of stuff, and you know, you would think Colorado would smoke them for that, but
I would, but
they might not have the horses to smoke them or the execution, you know.
1000%. So we'll see. Okay, so let's actually get into some more of these games that are obviously Big Ten games. The first big game that I see schedule wise is Bama versus Wisconsin at Wisconsin. I got Bama pretty much handily winning this game. Wisconsin doesn't look like they've looked like in past years, even though we thought that this would be a turnaround year for them. It's just not. And Bama actually surprisingly looks a lot better considering they've lost the GOAT coach. So any thoughts on that game going into it?
I see either Bama just straight blowing them out or most likely a controlled ass whooping, butt whooping, however you want to say it. Yeah. That's probably what I see. Bama did struggle with USF. Why did they struggle with them?
I didn't see that game. So I didn't realize they struggled.
The final score was a big blowout, but
it was 10-10 going into the half.
Yeah, and going into the fourth, it was close.
Yikes.
So Bama's got some flaws, but I don't think Wisconsin can exploit them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not likely, especially after having a scare the week before. Now your focus goes to 110% for the big game. It could have been that they were looking ahead to Wisconsin, you know, early season. Wisconsin's not Wisconsin of old, but it's still kind of a big time matchup.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so leaps and bounds better than South Florida.
Exactly. So they could have been looking ahead a little bit, and their focus is they're probably going to be locked in and ready to steamroll Wisconsin.
Yeah, we've got some. Looks like we got some difference in the chat. We've got GOJ saying 33-9 Bama.
That's what I'm thinking.
But then we've got Daniel Henry saying Wisconsin going to get one for the Big Ten. Bama's overrated. I mean, if Bama is letting USF into the game, deep into the game, and they have to score 28 in the fourth quarter to win it, that changes my mind a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Let's see, Bama coming up north. Did they get lost? True. What up, Marcus Barlow?
The SEC Big Ten crossovers.
Yeah. No, if that's the case, and again, I didn't see last week's game, so I'm hoping Wisconsin can pull one out and upset Bama, but I think that's a tall order. I think that's a lot to ask.
It is, and I think they're focused. I think they're going to be focused after that scare last week.
Yeah, for sure. Any thoughts on some of these smaller games like Central Michigan versus Illinois or Prairie View at Michigan State? I think those are pretty much self-explanatory. I think Illinois has done decent this year so far, but it's Central Michigan, so I don't think they should have too much trouble with that. And if Michigan State doesn't beat Prairie View, yeah. All right, this is the game I wanted to talk about. So Notre Dame obviously just came off of an even more embarrassing loss than some other teams, and now it was more embarrassing. It was more embarrassing than you guys' loss. I'm throwing that out there.
Yeah, they saved us from Sports Center and all of them. College football final. I was so happy they lost.
But see, y'all lost to a top 3 team. They lost to Northern
Northern
Illinois.
Illinois. Yes,
So,
yes, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, sex symbol.
So, well, yeah, before I get into the actual game itself that they're playing Purdue, what's the thoughts going into this game of Marcus Freeman's future? He's lost some games he should not have lost, specifically because of him.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
He's gonna have to go back to modeling. Ain't that what he was doing at Ohio State?
That's crazy. No, he was whooping ass at Ohio State.
Oh, I ain't know. I thought he was.
He lost that Buckeye edge.
Oh, he lost that edge, and he lost his edge, and he
started talking shit about Ohio State, and he started fucking up. That's his problem.
I thought he lost his edge. He started putting it into his looks. I'm gonna be the sex symbol coaching.
You would think. No, you start talking about the shit about Ohio State. That's what ends up happening.
Oh, that's what happened.
Yes.
Okay, yep. I didn't know. He just popped up out of nowhere. I heard he was Ohio State. I'm like, hey, this dude cares a lot about his looks. Like
he ain't care nothing about that till he went to Notre Dame.
Then he turned into Shamar Moore.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
But yeah, he in trouble.
He's in trouble for sure.
Because he's what did he lose to Marshall? Marshall the first year.
Yep. Obviously lost to Ohio State after a 10-man snafu.
Coaching 101, coaching for dummies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you lose to Northern Illinois. Like I was listening to Brady Quinn on Fox, the radio channel or whatever. And he was, Brady Quinn is Notre Dame. Like he was that dude. And the embarrassment, and that they've never really lost to somebody like that.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal, bro. Like Notre Dame don't play. You can't come up there losing all these types of games, and then when you have coached a hell of a game, and then you find a way to lose that. So it's like, bro, how much time are we gonna waste on you? Like, if you can't coach right now, if you can't beat Northern Illinois after what is this, his third year?
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat Northern Illinois?
Yeah.
You got to go.
Problem.
If I was a Notre Dame fan, I'd be leading the bandwagon. He got to go.
Agreed. I mean, I think they've got a great running back room. I think Riley Leonard should have gave them everything that they're looking for to have a decent offense this year, and it's just not clicking whatsoever, which is crazy. Very crazy. I think at this point, Notre Dame goes into the preseason looking like a top 5, top 10 team, and they find some way every year to fuck it up. And at this point, you got to start looking at the coach and saying, hey, it's something
going on. And they
got
an easy schedule this year, bro. It's not like they got a hard schedule.
Yeah.
Lost to Northern Illinois, bro. And you suck.
Could fuck around and lose to Purdue today.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised. And that's a game that Purdue would love to get, you know what I mean, as a confidence builder.
And they got some of the same problems on offense that we got.
Yeah.
It's abysmal. You ain't playing no offense. That's the problem. Facts. So when you don't play any offense, when your offense is so bad that anybody has a chance almost, because you ain't scoring unless your defense is scoring touchdowns or your special teams is getting touchdowns, you're going to be in grudge matches because your offensive production is non-existent.
Yep. Yeah, I think if they don't end up making the 12-team playoff this year, they're going to at least think about testing something else, because that's a problem, especially for Notre Dame. They got the big head. They think they're football elites out there.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, I think they're football elites out there, and they just haven't been anywhere near that. So, also, if Kingston Biliamu-Asa is watching, you can come back on over to Ohio State. You know what I mean? Linebacker recruit who decided to go to Notre Dame over Ohio State. So, you can come on over to Ohio State. Just throwing that out there. Let's see what we got. First of all, Marcus in the chat saying, let's get some more likes in the chat. Let's see. I think I missed a couple. Wish Courtney Hawkins was our wide receiver coach. I think that's a go blue there. Let's
our
see.
Receiver coach. What's his name? I can't remember it. Ron Bellamy.
Oh yeah.
He ain't. I've honestly wanted him fired about 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I've been calling for him to get fired. I feel like our receivers have underachieved for years, and the route tree is bad. It's so out of all the coaches, he probably should have been one to go. He ain't had nowhere to go probably, but they say he does well in recruiting. But when you get the studs, they leave. Andrew Anthony went to Oklahoma. Carmelo English, he left. Darius Clemens, all that hype for him, and he went to, was it Oklahoma State or Oregon State? He went to one of those. I think it's Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So you getting the talent and then they don't stay. And that's part of the reason why we're in the position we're in right now.
It also probably would have helped had y'all got Bryce Underwood, but you didn't. So there's that too.
They still trying to get him.
Are they? Oh, that's
Sharon is, I guess he's trying to go back all in. I guess he somewhat sees like, oh boy, I might be in trouble here.
Yeah, no. Bryce Underwood would be a huge upgrade.
Yeah, so
even as a high school senior.
I need to get a quarterback. Hey, Harbaugh didn't do it on his own. He got JJ, and JJ was committed. Facts. He's got Brady Hart supposedly coming and all that, but you need somebody for next year for sure. Jaden Davis, we don't know. He's gonna redshirt this year. People calling for him, just chill out. He ain't playing. Yeah. They promised him he wasn't gonna play this year. So, hoping for that. You just gotta get more quarterbacks to see. Sure. Like, you don't want to put all your eggs in Jaden Davis and then he turns out to not be good. Yeah. You don't want to do that. Like y'all, kind of like y'all situation last year. Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. You got all our eggs in these two dudes. This dude is brittle, and Kyle McCord is just not that.
Yeah. So shout out to Kyle McCord, by the way. He's doing his thing out in Syracuse, talking big shit too.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
See, I was just trying to big him up real quick. You go somewhere with this. I didn't ask for this.
Don't go nowhere.
Shout out to Kyle McCord. All right, on to the next game.
Nah, don't go nowhere.
All right, what are we talking?
Do you? So looking at Will and looking at Kyle. Are you
Will?
I said looking at Kyle.
I heard you. Will Howard over Kyle McCord.
This year, Kyle.
He's so much better at making decisions, extending plays, even though that one snafu against with Travion Henderson where he threw the ball and almost caused a fumble and all that shit. But anyway, he's in 2 games, he's a lot more confident than Kyle McCord has ever been. And he still has Kyle. Or I'm sorry, he's a lot more confident than Kyle McCord was last year.
No, we're not comparing last year. That's
why aren't we?
Question. Why aren't we? That's
okay.
Like,
so then
that's like that's like comparing Bo Nix at Auburn to Bo Nix at Oregon.
Okay.
So we're not that last year was last year. We know he wasn't that good. We talking about this year's Kyle against this year's Will. Are you
fine?
Even
then, I'm still going Will Howard because Kyle McCord looks great against OU. Now, granted, Will Howard looks good against some of these other scrub teams as well, but the difference is a lot bigger. And I trust Will Howard driving this, Lamborghini offense a lot more than I do
Kyle doing that with Syracuse receivers.
It's not the same.
Remember we all said Kansas State receivers with Will? He doing that with Syracuse receivers.
Shout out to Kyle McCord. You look great.
Hold on. Imagine if he had Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Ibuka again and Carnell Tate, Big Game Tate.
No. I'm sorry. Big Game Tate. No.
Imagine if he had Big Game Tate.
Can you give him a better nickname?
That's a pretty good nickname.
That's not a good nickname.
Big Game Tate.
Yikes.
Put on the tape.
Yikes. Anyway, Kyle is beating middies. Good on him, but Will all day. Thank you. That's all
y'all
I'm saying.
Beating middies. Y'all ain't played nobody great.
Yeah, but it looks different. It looks way different.
Yeah, but y'all are running it.
Be honest.
He's throwing it. He's like, Kyle is like, get on my back. Yeah, I'm ready this
year. You're doing this for the jokes. I get it. I get it. But in reality, Will Howard looks way better.
I'm just saying, like, all jokes aside, I'm just saying, he looks good. He's putting up numbers, like throwing it like meet or bust. I can always appreciate somebody that does that though. Meet or bust.
If we were in a position, like Dave's here says, if we were in a position where we had to take Kyle for another year, I wouldn't be upset. But Will Howard is just better, right? He's more confident. I think the coaches trust him a lot more. And then, honestly, this Chip Kelly offense has worked numbers for, everything, the run game, just everywhere. So, yeah, no. Will Howard is the option. Stop it. Stop playing with me.
Y'all want to move on. Y'all don't want to have buyers.
You talking about it's too early for all this stuff. It's too early for you to be doubting Will Howard versus Kyle McCord.
I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying, if let's say he was on Michigan last year and he had the same stats, whatever, and then he goes to Syracuse, and I'm like, hold on, this dude is looking accurate, good. Looking poised, looking. It's looking like a field general.
It's like if we were dating and, we were obviously dating Kyle McCord in this situation. We broke up with him, but we upgraded. So we see you living your best life, X, but things are good over here and we're happy as well. So great for you, but we're living our best life over here. That's all it is. What is this look you're giving me? What is this? What is this? Marcus Partlow says Michigan gets out of September 4-1. He'll be happy moving forward. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that would make me feel a little better.
Have Michigan put him on scholarship. Have Michigan put Kyle McCord on scholarship if you feel so. Actually, that would work. That actually would work.
I would take him.
That actually would work.
I would take him, but it's too late for that goes.
Yeah,
I'm just asking because he was y'all quarterback. So I don't know if maybe you look at it like, dang, maybe we should have kept him. Honestly, not on a joking way. Like, man, maybe we should have kept him. And with all these receivers, like this dude might be unstoppable because dudes get better, similar like a Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying?
I do think with everything considered, the change in offense, the addition of weapons like Quinshon Judkins and Jeremiah Smith, yes, Kyle McCord could have had an even better season. I mean, he only lost this really one game last year, but it was the game. So, yeah, I think he would have looked better in this season. But, again, we've moved on. We've got Will Howard, and Will Howard's going to take that spot.
Oh, they got it. They done moved on. They moved on for their ex.
Yep.
But I will say this about him. He part of him playing this well is probably because of the pressure. He couldn't handle the pressure of being at Ohio State. I saw it against Notre Dame. Even when y'all won, I could see it on his face on the sideline.
Yeah.
So him not being at Ohio State with all of y'all putting that pressure on him to be great,
True.
That's probably part of the reason he looks so much better at Syracuse. There's not so much pressure. It's like, oh, he's good, great. If he's not that good, oh well, when's basketball season?
Hey, pressure makes diamonds. So, we got to put the pressure on the quarterback to be great at all times. All right. One game that I was looking at, I was trying to make a parlay this week, and I just could not decide either way on this game. Washington State at Washington, 3:30. I could not decide whether I thought Washington State was going to go into the Huskies Stadium, whatever it's called, and he got a win. Thoughts?
I'm not sure. If I was betting, I would stay away from that one.
I did end up staying away from that one. It was a close one. I just feel like it's going to be a tough game to call. I think obviously Washington's going to have to go into the Big Ten and probably not even be close to the team that they were last year, but I couldn't decide. Washington State versus Washington. Stephen Cherry says take Washington State.
That's more
Washington State I'm going with. That's what I'm thinking too. I mean, I think they look pretty good.
They come to play.
Yeah.
That's one of them teams. They come to play. I've seen them give good teams trouble, like really give you trouble. They gave Washington last year everything they asked for, so
yeah.
I think everybody
agrees that it's Washington State. I literally was going to press the button on Washington State. I think that's a good choice to pick if anybody's looking out for their parlays. I mean, you only got 20 minutes to set your parlays at this point, but
them boys give you everything you ask for and more.
For sure. Let's see. Washington State, Oregon State covering, and Purdue could be a nice hit. I agree with that. I agree. Marcus Partlow says he wants Tuttle to start today. That seems to be the option. I'm going to be honest with you. Marcus Partlow.
I really don't care. I just want to see somebody else. Like, I'm at the point when, before the season, everybody's got their favorite quarterback. Is it Tuttle? Is it Orji? Is it Davis Warren? Everybody has their favorite. Before this, I wanted Orji. I still want to see Orji because I haven't seen it, with a real chance. But if Tuttle comes in and he's good, great. Let's get it. At this point, everybody else deserves a chance besides Davis Warren. He's had his chance. You've had your chance. Yeah, one of them was Texas. Oh well, you wanted to be the starter. Now you the starters. Go start against Texas. I don't want to hear no excuses. So now it's somebody else needs to get a chance, and I really don't care who it is. I just want to see the staff accept the fact that we need to see who else we have.
Yeah, for sure.
In game, practice ain't the game.
Looks like Marcus is agreeing with you here.
Yeah.
Sharon should take on play calling.
That's a fact. He needs to be calling plays. Kirk Campbell is hot garbage. I'm sorry. He's garbage. And I didn't have much hope for him before the season. Like, I had some hope because, he's a new coordinator. He's been around. But once the season starts, I'm evaluating, and I don't like it. Sharon, you better take over this. Take it over.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I've got two other situations that I think we should discuss. And then I guess we could take it away for Michigan if you have any final thoughts for that game, since we got an off week this week. Some slight. Okay. Nebraska beat Colorado last week. And I don't think they have really anybody tough to face until late October when they see us. They're gaining a lot of confidence, especially behind Patrick Mahomes Jr. What do you think about that? I mean, I don't see them. I don't know if I see them losing until they face us. So what are your thoughts? Are they back or what are we looking at?
I like what I see out of them. Before the season, I think I was on College Football with Sam. And I was like, I got to wait and I got to see this Dylan Raiola in real games. All the hype, you never know how they're going to react when they're actually playing against college athletes. But I like what I see out of him. And Nebraska has always had a defense. Even when they've been bad, they've consistently had pretty good defenses. The offense was just garbage. Now that they've got an actual quarterback that can he can make every throw. If they can give him time. And I like the speed that they have on offense and how they're using that speed.
Yeah.
They got some burners on their team.
They sure do.
Them dudes was flying against. I was watching that game with my nephew. I'm like, bruh, who are these dudes? They got some dudes. I'm like, bruh, these dudes are flying on these reverses and jet sweeps and stuff like that. Like, these dudes are moving.
So but they didn't have the facilitator to help bring that, to fruition for them in their offense up to this point. So now that they do, things look different.
Exactly. Things look different. And honestly, some of the stuff that they're doing on offense, I wish we were doing, because I feel like they probably don't have to do that stuff. Well, they probably do have to do some of it. But if you want to have a good offense, it doesn't matter if you got a team full of NFL wide receivers or a team full of the guys that we got at receiver. You're still going to do that stuff. If you want your offense to be great, you need to do these things. Yeah. That's just what I don't care if I got a bunch of NFL studs at receiver. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to put up the most yards and be the most explosive team that I could possibly be. But so I can appreciate what I'm seeing from was it Matt Rule?
Matt Rule. Yep.
I can appreciate what I'm seeing from them on offense and with defense. And if I'm them, I'm just trying to get Dylan Raiola as comfortable and as locked in as possible before we play Ohio State. Because he's gonna have to make some big time throws in that game. If they can get him ready, like really ready to go, they're gonna be a problem. Glad we don't play him.
All right, so let's take a look here. Marcus Partlow says, "Don't sleep on Nebraska Ohio State fans," and he says they'll give Ohio State a dogfight. Jay Marion says Dylan going to be nice. Stephen Cherry says Nebraska is legit, but they're going to get dog walking Columbus. I obviously wholeheartedly agree. I think Nebraska has looked great on offense. They don't face a defense like ours, even close, at all this season. So when they come into Columbus, they're going to have to face a defense that they've never seen before. Dylan Raiola is going to probably get sacked a few times. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a completely different game than he's played. And no matter what kind of confidence he comes into that game with, he's going to be shell-shocked.
You think baby Mahomes
he's going to be shell-shocked. But
I don't know.
He is a great player as a freshman. He will obviously develop with these next couple years, and he'll be an NFL quarterback. He'll play on Sundays. As of right now, he hasn't faced anyone close to Ohio State, and he has to face them in Columbus. He's going to be shell-shocked. Just throwing that out.
I mean, you could be right. But, if they want to win that game, they're going to need him to be that dude.
Yeah.
But I like what I see from him on offense, the fact that you've got weapons and you know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really appreciating any coach that I see and like, man, that's a good play. That's a good play. You knew how to get that to your player, boy. You can coach, boy. I'm really appreciating coaches that know how to get into their players this year, to their playmakers. Because
absolutely,
I'm in a sad place right now, y'all.
Sure, you gotta look for happiness elsewhere, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the last game that gave my my parlay a little trouble. Indiana at UCLA. Now, when I looked at it, I was like, UCLA at home, maybe they'll be able to pull out a win. But Indiana has actually looked pretty good this year.
Yeah, they got a tough coach. They got a tough, hard-nosed coach.
Yeah,
I would if I was to pick, I would say probably Indiana. UCLA is they're in a bad place. Losing Chip Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks to y'all.
Well, obviously.
And they lost their defensive coordinator too. He went to USC. So yeah. And he and they had a pretty good defense. He's part of that Ravens coaching tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty bad for them right now. I would probably pick Indiana. But that's another game I probably might stay away from if I was betting.
Now that one, I actually did choose Indiana because once I took a few looks at their highlights, their offense actually surprised me. I didn't realize that that's what they were doing out here. Because who's watching Indiana right now?
Nobody, unless you're playing them.
Exactly. So I didn't realize they were looking so good, but then I looked at some highlights and some commentary. They actually look pretty good, and I think UCLA is just not anywhere close to where they need to be to beat them, even if it is at home. So.
Yeah, they lost too much.
Yeah.
Go back to this. Look, go back to this real quick.
Which one?
This goes, Ohio State will not get challenged until the playoffs.
That's a fact. Why are we going back to it?
I want to ask you,
Okay.
Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
It's a good thing because we'll be gaining confidence all throughout the season. I think when it comes to the playoffs, the only real test that we should face is either Georgia or Texas. Oregon hasn't looked good. Pretty much every team in Penn State has looked sloppy at times, even us at times. Not for very long, but first half against Akron. So I agree with it. I don't think we'll get challenged into the playoffs. Once we get into the playoffs, it'll be deep into the playoffs at that. I'm looking at teams like Georgia, Texas, maybe Bama. Those will be the teams that we will actually get challenged against. But is that a shocker for anybody?
No, what my question was, is that a good thing?
Is that a good
you usually want to have some
sort of. I think we will. I think we won't be worried. I think a team like Oregon is going to give us a fight. I think obviously Michigan's going to give us a fight if they can fix some of their offensive woes. So I think we'll face some tests, but ultimately I don't think we're going to be worried until the playoffs. So I think that's what we're looking for.
I didn't say you have to get challenged. I said usually you want your team to go through something.
Some kind of adversity.
Because, bro, I've got coach speak like I've been coaching for years or something. It's hard to get guys to work on things to get better when you're blowing everybody out.
Yeah.
So you want your team to face some adversity before they get to the playoffs to make sure they're battle tested. Y'all ain't been to the playoffs since 22.
That's a crazy statement. Just off on itself. You haven't been to the playoffs since 22. There's teams that haven't made the playoffs at all.
But we're not talking about them.
Sure.
We're talking about
it's just a crazy statement.
I'm just saying.
It's not been in the playoffs since 2 years ago. Well, okay.
It's a different team.
Sure, it is. I just thought that was funny. That's all.
I mean,
I'm not saying there's no merit.
It's not. I'm not saying it's like that's a long time,
right?
But it's a difference.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's no merit to that. It's just a funny statement. It's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get in the playoff, it's a different animal.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to address a couple of other comments that were made. First of all, I think we were both on the live saying that Bowling Green didn't have a chance against Penn State. So why you're singling me out as if I said Bowling Green was trash is crazy. But Penn State did look a little crazy against Bowling Green. And then Miami too. Miami is on that list so far, at least. As far as the teams that I'm a little concerned about. Cam Ward has looked amazing. I expect Cristobal at some point this season to fuck up a game for them, so I'm not that worried. Just me specifically. And then Ducks could get their stuff together by the OSU game, which is absolutely factual. And I think if we're talking about teams that Ohio State should be worried against, or teams that they may feel some adversity against, obviously it's still going to be Oregon. 02 Miami Hurricanes weren't challenged until they ran into Maurice Clarett and the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's a fact.
Thank you. Fact. Thank you for making my point.
Yeah.
You want to face some type of adversity to know. My boys are on it. You know, if you can blow everybody out then and win the championship, hey, that's great. It's just not likely you will.
Yeah. External server says, you gents have an entertaining show here. Love the Ohio State Michigan slant on all things college football. Keep it up. That's the underlying thing to our show here, House Divided. Obviously, we also got Marcus would love some more backup for Ohio State, but of course it takes two Michigan fans versus one Ohio State. It's no big deal. It's no big deal.
I'm going. One day we're gonna have all three of us, and I'm gonna be unbiased. I'm gonna take my Michigan. I'm gonna put a different background up. Okay. And I'm just gonna be unbiased. I'm just gonna
see. I'm gonna try to start utilizing this little whiteboard back here. It's turning around because it still says "Thank you, Quinn Ewers," but I'm gonna start using this whiteboard a lot more.
Now you wow.
Why? Thank you, Quinn Ewers.
That screen, boy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get off of that screen. I got some thank you, Quinn Ewers. Now you ain't right.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something about Quinn Ewers.
He's still a Buckeye.
He's still a Buckeye. Quinn Ewers was a whole different person when he was there. That man had the long mullet. He was like the country kind of rednecky kind of dude. This dude looks like he gonna have the Travis Kelce beard, you know what I'm saying, with the fade in a minute. Like it's a whole different. This boy don't glowed up. That Quinn and y'all Quinn, that's a whole different person.
You know what though? You know what hasn't changed? He still calls y'all the team up north. He's still a Buckeye, honorary Buckeye. I'm cool with it.
Good God. He got some money from y'all and dipped. Blaming him.
He did, and I was hurt. And if he was still with us, he would be the starting quarterback for us right now.
He would
go to the NFL. Yeah, I think so. He would have sat behind CJ for a couple years, and then he would have been the starting quarterback if he didn't go to the NFL at that point. So I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, you're right. But he's a total different man.
He is,
but he's the man he used to be.
He still hates y'all the same, so he's still in our hearts, even though he took that truck and money and moved down south.
Mm-hmm. You're a good cowboy.
He stole a bag. Welcome to America. Facts. That's just how things work. White man gets his money and dips off. It's cool. I get it. All right. Anything else we need to discuss? I know. What time is you guys' game? 12 o'clock? 3:30?
Yeah, we're on at 12.
Okay. Well, then again, I want you to, obviously be able to see your game. Any last thoughts before, we get into week 3 of college football?
No, just getting ready to turn up, watch some football, and hopefully we can have a semblance of an offense today.
Agreed. Look, I mean, I know some of our Buckeye fans in the chat don't want me to say this, but hey, good luck to you guys, at least until you come down to Columbus and get stomped. But good luck for the rest of the season at the very least.
I appreciate it because we need it. We need it right now.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, it's been House Divided. Make sure y'all like the stream. Make sure y'all subscribe. We will be obviously talking about college football for the rest of the season. And make sure you subscribe to Johnny Olden. Obviously, he has a channel where he breaks down Michigan games. Make sure you subscribe to Back of the Bus. We talk about, culture things, TV, movies, pretty much everything, a hodgepodge of everything. But obviously, make sure you subscribe to A House Divided, where we talk college football. Peace.
Go Blue.
Go Bucks.